I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna keep it sweet. I would love to get a decent sized hog over the flames just so I can have some fresh meat. That would be delicious. I'm on day 4 in Texas. I'm camped out across this stream and this river, and I want to get on some hogs tonight. I've got some stone arrow points. There's an area that's been trafficked, highly trafficked. There's lots of oak trees with all sorts of acorns underneath it where they're rooting up. It is about 4:30. It's overcast. Today's been like high 70s, almost in the 80s today in the hill country. But we're not going to have any loom, so I'm hoping they'll come here before it gets dark. Shooting a 65-pound on the draw, Mesolithic styled hackberry bow. I've got a bunch of stone points and a winning spirit. I think I'm gonna get up into a tree, shoot down at them. This is one of the hardest things, like filming hunts. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I have been extremely unsuccessful in the past. I mean, fish and squirrel, but I can never seem to get the impact shot. So kind of got a high knee. I should be able to draw. Got a nice line of sight. A couple arrows positioned and ready to go. Now it's just time waiting for the hogs. If it gets too dark, I won't be able to see. There's nothing but cloud cover right now. There's no moon. It's gonna be completely dark, so I'm gonna go with this little Keokuk point right here, wrapped up with some sinew, sealed with some hide glue. That should get the job done. There's a field right there, and then there's a tree line. I'm hoping they move through the tree line right to me. So it's morning after that attempt at hunting those hogs up last night. I'm gonna do another hunt this evening, but in my mind I feel like I need to actually build a smoker, or I need to build something in preparation for it. It's one of those things, you know, you shoot something and then you don't have the means of processing it and preserving it, or you feel a little rush for time. I mean, it was 6:30 when they crossed, and it was probably about 7:15, 7:20 by the time I got out of the tree, because it was pitch black and I made my way back here. So I think if I have a smoker, or if I have something to preserve some meat, it will definitely build into my psyche of, all right, if I shoot something, then I know I can start preserving it. I mean, it'd be a long night of smoking meat over the fire, but the temps are nice and cool today. It's nothing but overcast. Hopefully there's no rain. Yeah, I'll get out there, set in, right where I think they're gonna cross, hopefully ambush them. Let's build a smoker. I should definitely get that smoke hitting the meat. More importantly, I've got plenty of ground clearance from actual flame, so I won't cook it. I'll just let that smoke billow up just how it is. That's just smoke. Feels good. There's not going to be any heat because I have no flame. It's just a smoldering tinder bundle. Smoke's rising up. It's going right through. Got a little bit of a gap from where the meat would hang or the fish would hang with my rock wall. And then more importantly, it's dug into the ground, so I've created space. Instead of having to build a super tall wall, I dug down into the ground. That's where my smoking, punk wood or even some of this oak would be. Being that if this is the ground, it's dug down, and then I have a rock wall up, I've created a longer chamber. You can see that smoke will definitely hit any hanging fish. Definitely work. I might put another layer of rocks. More importantly, I could take some of these big juniper branches that have broken off and just kind of lean those up and create another little barrier. But could cook on it. I could hang a pot from here. I mean, I have my fire pit, which is really just to craft around and do different things, but this is a good tell. Once you build your smoker, you always want to, test it. This will work. Now I just got to get some hog meat. It's about 5:30. I've got an hour. So we'll start it off with this little Keokuk point and then this little Jasper point. And then if they come up too close, that spear I recently made, if anything's coming over this edge, I'm gonna get it with this. It's probably just a stand. That, okay. It is a lot easier to work in this little ravine compared to that tree. Lots of this fresh dirt on me. This is the shirt I wore all day in the smoke, so hopefully it's got a little mask to it. Smoke, dirt. We're in a good spot. I've matted all of this ground down behind me, so it's all soft, so I'm not crinkling on leaves and making noise, because literally I'm gonna pop up right here. And if they're crossing right there, I should be able to get a shot. I've got a lot of vegetation right here, so I just want to avoid the wind. That's the key. Nothing quite yet. They're coming though. Tonight's the night. Well, if you look over my shoulder, no meat on the smoker. It was a unproductive night. I decided to hunt in this little wash draw area that kind of led between these two little kind of mounds. The hogs just stuck to the mound and rooted around in there for a bit, and then never made their way towards me. I gotta wind up leaving tomorrow. This is day 5. I've hunted 2 nights and built everything the first couple days just to make sure that, I had the ability to process the hog, smoke the meat, the whole 9 yards, just to make sure that, I could take care of that kill. I did fire 1 arrow right when the lights were, it was almost dark. Kind of fired into the group of hogs. Usually it's not what I do when it comes to hunting, but I still had some visibility. It was a far shot, but I was hoping maybe even if I could grab one of the little piglets, I'd be cooking bacon this morning. So I got to do a little maintenance on 1 arrow, because as I fired it, I kind of chose the arrow that I figure would have some failure to it as far as the point, and yeah, and it took a little bit of damage. So I'm going to readdress that arrow tip today, and I think I might do some fishing and wait for evening to fall and give it another whack. Fire and the shelter and the smoker and everything is set up. It's really just taking on the next phase, which is some meat, to really have a long-term living solution out here. So this is some of the damage. That arrow took just some edge flaking. So I'm just going to readdress that tip. This is that one that I fire when the lights are going out. A little farther than I would have liked to have shot. I'm just going to give this a new working edge and a new tip, and I should be good to go. A lot of ancient peoples would do this. They'd fire an arrow, miss, take that point or projectile that's already on there and just give it a new working edge. And that's essentially just after a few little adjustments around this edge, it's coming into that new sharp form. You got to make sure you get the other side as well just to balance it out, but it's a very practical way to make sure that your gear good to go. Give it a little balance on both sides, because as some was removed, you just want to make sure that it's not going to wobble and throw your arrow off in flight. Make sure it's good to go, and now that guy is ready to fire into hopefully a hog tonight. Remainder of the day I might hunt for something smaller back here, but to be honest with you, I feel like I'm just going to throw my fish trap in, probably grab my atlatl with the spear tip on it and see if I can get some fish, just a little bit of something. But now it comes that game, because I know I'm leaving tomorrow, so if I wind up shooting a big hog, it's a lot of meat to process throughout the night just to pack up and roll out the next day. So it's that mental game. However, if I was out here, let's say for a month, 2 months, whatever that case may be, hunting, the process would always be continuing. It would never stop. You know, it's always gathering firewood, reinforcing the shelter as the seasons change, getting some sustainment food like some fish or turtles, acorns, whatever the case may be, but then aiming to turn something large into a sustainment, you know, turning a large hog for myself to consume, to smoke, and then eat it as it is. I mean, that would put me days and days and days out here. So if I could get a hog, it would be a good example of moving from beyond survival into that thriving phase, which is simply having enough resources and enough stuff that I can turn to, you know, things that are more of comfort. Maybe building a bed on the inside of my wicking up, maybe making some pottery, maybe doing some sort of musical instrument. Or it's the things that I know that I can exert that energy towards, because I have a long-term food source, and you go from surviving to thriving. So that was my last night, the night I was planning on doing my last attempt at getting hogs, but you know, since it was my last night, I figured I would sit down, make a fire, and just enjoy the evening. Play it into, you know, the idea that I'm going home the next day. If I take a large hog, you know, there's a lot of meat that could potentially be spoiled. So I'm opting to really just sit and enjoy a good fire, hopefully a few stars because it's been overcast, but the idea is just to enjoy it, get a good night's sleep, rest up, walk out in the morning. Tonight's going to be for me. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to enjoy this fire. I'm going to hopefully get a few views of the stars. I ate a fish. I've got no complaints. It's about the adventure. It's not about getting everything on film. Yes, I would love to have gotten a hog for all you guys to see how to process it and smoke it. But that's a video for another day. Last night I just chilled and I ain't got no complaints. But it is time to definitely roll on home. I'm down to my last clean shirt, so yeah. Let's do this. Let's pack up. Grab the old packaroonie. Sandals. Blade. Definitely had hogs in sight, pulled fish out of the water. Built a great wiki up that really lasted while I was out here. Good fire pit. Didn't get to use the smoker. I'd rather have it ready to go than not have it. You know, you shoot something big and then you're like, oh my God, I got all this meat, and then you're cooking meat, it's spoiling. But good little hot smoker. No issues. All right. Leave that there. Unstring this guy. Four shafts. Fish dart, hunting dart. Let's leave this guy here. Some weird traveler will find it. Be happy that it's there.